Hi, it's Sherri from A Quilting Life, and I'm here today to share my holiday gift guide for 2020. These are some of my favorite things that I can't live without in the studio, and I'm going to kind of walk you through them, tell you what I use them for, why I love them, and if you're doing any online shopping this week for yourself or for other quilters, you might want to think about some of these items. I also have an Amazon storefront where I have some of my favorite quilting books, favorite organizational books, and favorite sewing notions and other things that you can look at for ideas as well. And we'll put a link for that in the description. But let's get started with the Holiday Gift Guide 2020. Okay, I've got everything on the table that I want to talk about today, and so I'm just going to go item by item and share everything with you. First up, I guess, is a rotary cutter. I love the Olfa Splash, and I do like their endurance blades that I do think they last longer, and I've tested that out and found that I change out the regular blades a lot more quickly than the endurance blades. So love my Olfa rotary cutter. And I also love Olfa cutting mats. I love the navy color that you see that I have here. That's the one I've been using and love. Okay, so I also love these little snips by Omnigrid. These have the sharpest points, and while they're, I feel like, especially made for applique, they're also just great for getting really close to your fabric and being able to trim a thread when you're binding or sewing or anything. I love these. In fact, I have them in 3 different places in my sewing room. So Omnigrid little snips. Seam ripper, clover, has to be clover. This is just my favorite one. It's super sharp and I love it. I also love the clover awl. They're kind of a matching set. And if you're not familiar with an awl, it's just a narrow pointed item that you can use at the sewing machine to kind of feed the fabric in or push something out of the way. An awl is really nice to have. I feel like I use it more when I'm making bags and projects, but it is a great tool to have. Okay, Clover Wonder Clips. I love the minis. They're super nice. And I love the rainbow pack, but the Clover Wonder Clips I use the most are just the regular size Clover Wonder Clips. And I keep them in a bag with a pair of scissors and a spool of thread, and I have actually some needles kind of stuck in to the padding on the bag, so that whenever I need to bind a quilt, I can just grab this bag and go. And this is a super simple little pattern to make. I'll actually link the pattern as well for the bag, but Clover Wonder Clips are wonderful, and there is a larger size which is great when you're making bigger projects. Okay, and since I talked about needles for binding, I love these Primitive Gathering binding needles. I don't know what it is for me, they're just the right length and the right thickness. They're sharp, but the eye is easy to thread too. So I just have really enjoyed using these Primitive Gathering binding needles. And while we're talking about Primitive Gatherings, Primitive Gatherings also has some great Creative Grids rulers that have really nice 1/8 inch marks. If you don't often sew with pieces that need to be cut at 1/8 of an inch, I feel like you might not need it, but for those times when you're cutting things that are 3 7/8 or 2 3/8, these rulers are really nice to have, and they come in a variety of sizes: a small size, a square, kind of a taller, and then there's even one more that I don't have on the table that's even bigger. But if you do a lot of precision cutting with 1/8 marks, these are great. Okay, let's go on to the rest of the rulers that I have here. If you follow me, you know that I love the mini simple folded corners ruler. It saves a ton of time. And there's also a larger version of this ruler that I use constantly as well. But I feel like if you can only get one, and you make smaller projects, you might get the mini. This is actually my favorite size of Creative Grids ruler. It's a 4.5 by 8.5. And I feel like when your ruler is too big, sometimes they slide more because you can't keep control of them. And so if I'm cutting anything 4.5 inches or smaller, I use this ruler. I will reach for it over my 6 by 12 every single day. It's just a really great size to have. I also have a 3.5 by 6.5, which I use when I'm working on mini projects. And then I also love having a square ruler, and this is an 8.5 by 8.5, and it's just nice for trimming up blocks. It has a diagonal line. If you can only have a couple sizes of these, I feel like 12.5, 8.5, 6.5 are the three most commonly used sizes. And then over here I do, oh, I guess I shouldn't slide this away before I show you. It's really nice to have a ruler stand. And I think this one is still available. I can link it, but it's just really nice to be able to, they're easily portable. You can put the rulers in your stand that you're using for a particular project and take it where you need to take it. And it's just really is nice to have them standing up where you can grab the ones that you need. Last ruler though is an 8.5 by 12.5, and this is an Omni Grip, and this is just a really great size too. I love having the 8.5 by 12.5. Okay, you can see I've got two different Caddies. I'm going to link. These are my two favorite Caddies. I love Caddies because you can put everything in them that you need and take it from place to place. Or if you're going to go into another room and do some handwork, you can put everything you need and just grab it and take it with you. So I use these Caddies all the time. I sometimes have a rotary cutter, ruler, marking tools. The Soline pencil is a favorite. I love the Soline pencil. There's something about the lead. It slides very easily when you're marking, and so I'd rather reach for this than a regular pencil. I also keep a pen in my Caddy just in case I need it. I feel like everyone should have one of these 1/2-inch ruler guides. They are great for marking when you need an exact 1/2 inch. I actually have a couple different brands. Actually, I have 3 different brands. I like them all. They're different sizes. And they're all exactly 1/2 inch wide. This one is brand new. It's from Creative Grids, and I really like the nice medium size. It's probably my favorite size. There's a smaller size Omni Grid that's good when you're doing small projects. And then if you're working with bigger blocks, it is nice to have the larger size. So those are great to have. This is a seam roller, and this is a favorite thing as well because sometimes you just don't want to get up and go to the iron every couple of seconds. And if you're working on something, this will press it really nicely until you get to the iron. The bobbin donut or bobbin keeper is really nice to have. I keep a good majority of my bobbins in here because I can throw this in a travel bag, and I put the empty ones back in, and then I know when I get 5 empty bobbins, it's time to clean out my machine and refill those bobbins. And then I always have a nice mix of bobbins. Okay, I know I already talked about the Primitive Gatherings binding needles, but there are some pins I want to share with you too. I love these magic pins. What I love about them is the little grip on the end. It's different than a normal pin. It's longer, and it's just really easy to grab. These are my pin of choice. For applique, I love the Clover applique pins. This is a great gift to give your favorite appliquer because you can never have too many of those. As far as thread goes, I love Aurifil, and on my machine I generally use a large cone on a cone stand. This is 2026. It's my favorite kind of creamy white. It's not a bright stark white, and it seems to go with a lot of things. I'll also use color number 2000 if I'm sewing with something a little bit darker. This is my Curry Bungalow pincushion. Her pincushions are the best. She will make them for you, or you can purchase her patterns as well. And I have another one of hers right here that has the thread catcher attached. And I love it because there's a little clip. I keep my scissors right there, so I always have scissors handy. I put my trimmings in the little basket, and then I also have a pin cushion on top. But you can also just do the pin cushion and move it from place to place. And I love her products. Triangle paper, it's really just been the past year and a half that I've started using it more and more. I feel like the smaller the half square triangle, the more important it is to use the paper. And so I would say that the 1-inch triangle paper size is my favorite one to use. I love that these little squares are sized to use with charm packs. And then there is also a variety pack that has even smaller sizes. So this is good to have on hand just in case. And then the other size of triangle paper I feel like I use pretty regularly is the 2-inch finished. If I'm making a lot of them out of the same fabric, I'll use that size triangle paper too, but it comes in all different sizes. This is my favorite little sewing bag. It's the Sew Together pattern. I can link that pattern for you. I did a couple things differently. I'll just show very quickly. I used a double slide zipper in my bag from by Annie so that I can open it easily. I also use soft and stable instead of batting. But this is just a great sewing bag to have. It keeps everything I need in the different pockets, and they're really fun to make too. Okay, we're getting almost to the end. I have to mention my Quilting Life Planner. I've been having a lot of fun being able to keep track of things and have everything in one place. I actually did a video on the planner already, and I'm going to have more information coming out about different ways to use this planner. These are actually a couple more just notebooks that I use to keep organized. And I have this in a Caddy as well so that I can take my planners and my pens and go get organized. I know I went over a lot of different things today, but these really are some of my favorite things for quilting. I will have a blog post to go along with this video too, and I'll link everything and put some of the information in there that I shared with you today. But it's always fun to do these favorite things posts, and it'll be interesting to see next year what new kind of notions and things I found. But this is the 2020 edition. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you'd hit the like button and share with a friend. And thanks so much for stopping by.